Hey guys, how are you? Coach D here from Pure Motivation Fitness, and I'm excited to bring to you the top 6 secrets for mass gain. Now, who wants to gain size? It's the ectomorph. The person that struggles to gain weight, the person that eats so many carbs per day and they can't put on a pound, the person that lifts weights, tries their best to gain a few pounds, and if they miss a few workouts, they're back to scratch. That used to be me. You see, 25 years ago when I got into lifting weights and I got into active training and proper training, I used to weigh 145 pounds. I was really good in a lot of cardiovascular exercises, a lot of exercises like swim team, like wrestling, like track and field, but I struggled to put on weight. And it wasn't until my high school year when one of the best coaches on this planet, Doug Williams, Mr. Williams, our coach at Weston Collegiate, he said to me, Dimitri, if you want to gain weight, look at Arnold's encyclopedia, check out the body types, and that's going to be your key. So when I read this encyclopedia chapter on somatotypes, it made sense to me. And it makes clear sense that if you're an ectomorph trying to gain weight, you got to follow these 6 strategies or secrets. Above all, you can't quit. Sit back, buckle your seatbelt, we're going to have a ride. Okay guys, tip number 1, I didn't put them in order of most important, but this one is the base of everything. You gotta eat breakfast. Now, please do not follow any fad diets and talk about fasting, counting macros. You gotta eat. If you wanna put on size, you gotta eat first thing in the morning. So you gotta make sure that your first meal is your heaviest meal. If you're waking up and you gotta go to the gym and train and you can't stomach swallowing oatmeal and a protein shake and some peanut butter, or if you can't stomach having toast and eggs or your typical breakfast that's heavy and stocky, you gotta drink it. So make yourself a protein shake. Make sure you're always using oatmeal as your first base of strong carb, plus some fruits, plus adding your fat macronutrient, and then adding your protein. If you have to, put 3-4 slices of carb together. Put your mix in between, some avocado spread, some ricotta cheese. If you want to put some peanut butter, whatever you want, crush it down and make sure your breakfast is big. If you're trying to gain weight and you're not putting one of your biggest meals of the day first thing, it's not going to happen. You're not going to have the fuel. And remember, you're not going to gain weight. You're trying to increase your muscle size. Hypertrophy. Hypertrophy cannot occur if you're not in an anabolic state. How can you become anabolic without taking drugs? Well, you gotta lift weights. 2, you gotta have enough protein every meal. 3, you gotta have some kind of strenuous activity, shocking the central nervous system, making your body be forced to have to grow. And 4, you gotta have food. You got it? Okay guys, tip number 2. You're not gonna like this one, but I gotta give it to you. It's not sexy, it's not metabolic, it's not something you can purchase, it's not something you can have, it's a discipline. You need sleep. Number 2, you need sleep. You cannot grow, you cannot put on muscle, your body cannot recuperate when it's not resting. We ectomorphs train with a different philosophy. We lift heavy, we lift poundage. We don't do crazy cardiovascular movements. We consume a lot of food. We store, we try to grow. Now, if you're not sleeping 7 to 8 hours per night, the chances of you gaining weight are gonna be less than the athlete next to you or your competitor who's sleeping that time. So for example, if you're getting 6.5 hours of sleep at night, but your diet is perfect, your training program is elite, you're taking supplements, branched-chain amino acids, protein shakes, you're eating properly, but you're only sleeping 5 to 6 hours, your body cannot produce the proper recuperation period. Your muscles that have torn and need time to heal and recreate in an anabolic state cannot happen. Your body cannot produce more growth hormone because your body's under stress. You're waking up tired, your muscles are sore. Remember, when you're lifting for size, you're lifting for strength, you're doing sometimes 1, 2.5 times the amount of body weight you're lifting. So if that muscle's torn and the fibers are ripped and you need to heal, and you're getting 6 hours of sleep and you go back the next day and you re-heal, you re-injure another area, you're gonna run into a catabolic state where now you're overtraining, your body's producing cortisol, and you will end up losing muscle. You will end up losing what you're trying to achieve. So rule number 2, get some sleep, and when you're done sleeping, give me a call, we'll talk. I gotta go back to work, guys. Tip number 3 is to make sure you're eating 50% of your plate needs to be complex starch, nutrient-rich carbohydrates. I know that sounds like a lot of words. Just think of half of your plate, check out the plate right next to me. Half of your plate needs to be either pasta, some whole grain rice, some potatoes, some yams. We can have some barley, some couscous. We need to have some bread, some pita bread. Half of that plate needs to be carbs because your main goal is to gain muscle. You're trying to build tissue that's not there. If your body doesn't have excess energy to not only repair the muscles that you're breaking down, but to have extra in the storage. Think of your back seat. You got a big sleeping bag full of fuel ready to go. So if you constantly have excess carbs, your body can repair, it can regrow, and it can also have more energy during your workouts. So if you're trying to lose weight, it's the complete opposite. Check out this plate. Half of vegetables, half of it's protein, and the rest of it's fat. When you're trying to gain size, just picture whatever you're eating, if half of your plate is on a complex starch carbohydrate, it's not gonna work for yourself. If you wanna limit your last meal to have it a little bit lighter, you're okay with that. But that's the most important thing I can tell you when it comes to nutrition. I'm gonna go back to my sec set, see you in a bit. Okay guys, tip number 4, you gotta know your macros. Now a lot of people think that you can gain size, get bigger, get stronger, just by eating a lot of food. And if you're going from the beginner exerciser to the intermediate, a lot of you guys watching right now and a lot of you girls watching are probably in that stage. And when you want to make the transition from intermediate to advanced, education comes in, a little bit of science comes in, a little bit more mindset and discipline comes in. So if you don't know your macronutrients, you're never gonna put on size because you look at food as food for that time of day. For example, you're going out for dinner, you look at a menu. When I look at a menu, I'm looking for my proteins, okay? I'm looking for my red meats, my white meats. I'm looking for my egg whites. I'm looking for protein powder. I'm looking for protein shakes. I'm looking for different forms, Greek yogurt, of protein because protein is used to build muscle tissue. It helps you repair muscles as well. It helps you with your metabolism because it keeps your metabolic rate higher. Why? Because your body's got to break down that protein, which is more dense food. You've got to know your carbohydrates. Now think of an umbrella, okay? Carbs break into 3 different categories. You have your starchy carbs, you put them in the middle. Starchy carbs are your slow releasing carbohydrates. Think of a turtle energy, okay? Breads, pastas, rices, quinoa, barley, oatmeal. Those are the slow carbs we need to build muscle. Most of your meals should have that carbohydrate. Your next source is fibrous carbohydrates, okay? Such as vegetables and fruit. Now, when you're looking at fruits, doesn't matter what kind you have, you're trying to gain size. You're looking at vegetables, you can have whichever ones you like. Just make sure your plate has 50% carbohydrates. The third category is gonna be your refined carbohydrates, your packaged processed foods that are high in sugar, granola bars, Gatorade drinks, candy bars, sweets, pastries, okay? That's your carbohydrates. Next you have your fats, okay? You wanna get your amazing polyunsaturated fats from nuts, seeds, avocado, coconut, cheeses, okay? Sardines, fish. There's so many good types of fat foods that you need to have in every meal. When I'm eating every meal, if you were to watch my lunch boxes, every 6 meals has about a 1/3 cup of either nuts or seeds thrown on top. I don't care if it's pasta and chicken breast, I'm throwing a 1/3 cup of nuts on it, okay? So know your macros if you want to put some size on. I gotta go back to work, guys. Hey guys, how are you? Tip number 5, secret to gaining mass and size and strength. You gotta follow a program. One of the biggest mistakes I see guys and girls make when they're trying to get big is, I wanna go to the gym. I wanna lift weights, I wanna eat a lot of carbs, yet they're not tracking a program. How can you measure any type of success if you don't follow a strict program with specific control variables that are graded quantitatively and qualitatively? What that means is if I follow a program, I know that I'm doing legs, chest, and back for 1 month. I'm gonna be doing squats or barbell lunges, bench press or incline dumbbell press, and deadlifts or one-arm rows. If I follow that for 1 month, I'm gonna have quantifiable measurements of success, either based on how many reps I'm getting, how much poundage I'm lifting, if I'm able to do the workout with less rest or more rest, and also how you feel, how your recovery is, how your strength is happening. So follow some kind of a program. If you're stuck, send me a DM right now, say I need help, and I will get you a customized program to help you with your goals. But if you're not following a program, how can you reassess at the end of 30 days and say, this is what my weight is, these are my measurements, my legs didn't grow, my upper body grew, so the next phase of my training, I'm gonna add legs twice a week. Follow a program for tip number 5, or else you will struggle to gain weight and size. I gotta go back to work, guys. You know the deal. Okay, guys, tip number 6 on the secret to gaining size and strength. You're not gonna like this one again, but you need to be patient. This is my 25th year training, okay? That's over 2 decades of training. Now, if I would have started off at 16, 17 years old, when I started exercising in high school sports, and then I got really into it at 18, if I would have said, I'm gonna give this 2 to 3 years max, and if it doesn't work, I'm out, how would I get to 195 pounds, drug-free, without steroids? How do you gain 50 pounds of muscle? Well, it takes time. You gotta remember one thing, that the longer you train, the more people say you got muscle memory. I say you also have stubborn memory, which means that yes, you have the benefit over someone else that has never worked out, because if you've been active all your life, your muscle fibers are recruited, your central nervous system is ready for that training session. Your body responds because it's been used to training. However, if you're not patient and you try after 2 or 3 years to gain as much size as possible and you stop, that's where you regress so hard. And just like someone that is mesomorphic or endomorphic, okay, and they have a hard time losing weight, the minute they stop and they go into binge fests, or the minute they go into big surge dieting and fasting, you're throwing your body's momentum off. So you need patience. I say your first year of weight training, you should gain, I don't know, minimum 10 pounds of muscle, sometimes 15. I gained more than 15 in my first year. But after my 3rd, 4th, 5th year, it's much harder, and you need to change your program. You need to look at your control variables in terms of your workout. You need to change different exercises, change your nutrition, and experiment. If you're not gaining weight and your calories or your total calories per day are 3,500, try going 35, 3,600. Increase by 250 to 500 calories per every 2 weeks. See if that works out. If so, remove cardiovascular exercises. If that doesn't work, go back to your training program. Increase the sets, increase the weight, increase the rest as well. Change things up, but you gotta be patient, guys. It's not gonna happen over a year or 2 years. And any guys you see on Instagram or social media or YouTube that are claiming they've gained 30, 40 pounds in 12 weeks or 6 months, it's not possible. If it is, you gotta take drugs. And if you wanna do it the natural, drug-free way, you gotta be patient. I hope you enjoyed these tips. They're one of the top 6 that I would recommend to any fellow ectomorph that's looking to gain weight and size. If you're stuck, you need help getting started, you need some education, you need motivation, or more importantly, if you're an advanced client and you're stuck and you want to break that plateau, send us a DM, reach out to me on Instagram or any social media, send us an email, we're happy to help you out. You can always DM me saying, I need help, or I'm ready, and we're here to help you out. If you think this video can help anyone else out, please share it with any friends and family, and remember, when it comes to health and fitness, attitude is everything. Boom! That's it from the Ectomorph, who's gained 50 pounds naturally. I hope you enjoy this, and we'll see you soon.